I have an interesting idea. I'm going to put the trail camera on, and I have a spot. Who knows again, what are we going to find apart from the birds? Maybe something unexpected. Well, if the neighbors see me now, I pretty much look like I'm hugging the tree. It's okay. They probably think I'm weird anyway. It's another day of gardening, and as usual, watering is the toughest, most hideous and boring part of it. Okay, not too boring, because I feel a bit accomplished when I water the plants, you know. I imagine how thirsty they were, and now they're happier. But today won't be only about the plants, because I have an interesting idea. And it involves something I didn't quite do before, except in the wild. I'm going to put the trail camera on, and I have a spot that I use for, you know, creating small ponds so birds can drink during droughts, and I will direct the camera toward it to see which kind of birds catch there. It's usually always the same kinds repeating, you know, you have. And who knows again, what are we going to find apart from the birds? Maybe something unexpected. Well, if the neighbors see me now, I pretty much look like I'm hugging the tree. It's okay. They probably think I'm weird anyway. Trying to find the best spot for this thing. I'm aware I'm recording a bit awkwardly, but I don't have 3 hands, unfortunately, so we'll have to find some of the best ways to do this. I did not expect that finding the right spot for the camera will be the most challenging part of the day. We'll put it here. I will stop recording and then explain what I've done. So here it is. Perfect. It's even well hidden and pointing to part of the garden and the part where hopefully some interesting birds will come to drink. I also put a bit of water down there where that edge is for, I don't know, maybe hedgehogs or some other ground animals will come to drink from there. The stone is for the animals not to drown. Well, bugs most likely. When they fall down, sometimes they cannot get out, so this way maybe I will decrease the chances of that happening. This time I am outside in the evening. There's a heat wave going on, and it is not so pleasurable to be outside during the day. To be honest with you, I spent almost entire day sleeping, and then I woke up and got out. So, I don't know, I'm living a Mediterranean lifestyle, I guess, these few days. I'm out to forage. My forage bags are ready, and broadleaf plantain is ready. It's always a bunch of them near the roadsides. Obviously I won't be picking these because they are dirty, but today's mission is nothing particular. I'm just looking for some herbs maybe even plantain. I will just pick some stuff for making a tea or something. I will see what I will do. But I found something I did not expect here, in the middle of the forest, with no farmlands or arable lands nearby. This is a pumpkin. It is a pumpkin. It just started growing. I will move it a bit just to save it from the road. But there is a bunch more of these. Look at them. So I guess somebody dropped some compost or some organic matters here, because pumpkins are very known to volunteer from those kind of stuff. Last year I found one patch growing from the fertilizer that somebody left on the sides of the farmland, and yeah, I did actually pick one of those up. I think it was perfectly good to eat, but I didn't want to risk it because of possibility of cucurbit poisoning, even though very low. I just didn't want to play with those things. But yeah, maybe I will play this year, you know? So what didn't kill me last year will kill me this one. Amazing stuff. I think it's most likely safe. Don't know what I will do with it. Try to identify it a bit better to be more sure if there is a way to do it. But yeah, there it is, pumpkins in the middle of the forest. Who knows what else awaits us? Probably nothing much, but we'll see. And there is one more thing that I finally managed to pay attention to and recognize this year. It's St. John's wort. It's Hypericum perforatum. I was so diligent to research this stuff that I even remember the Latin name. Amazing plant for all sorts of things, used since ancient times, I guess. It is also antidepressant, I believe, but it interacts with a lot of other medicines, and you should be careful if you're taking it. Apart from that, the reason why I'm not picking it up is because it is actually protected. People have been picking it up so much, it started to be threatened, and now it's illegal to pick these from the wild. At least I think so. Now, I did not examine the exact details of level of protection and all the nuances, but I will just let it be. I don't have the intent to try it out anyway. It can cause photosensitivity if you take it, so photosensitivity in the middle of the heat wave is not something I find pleasurable, so just skip that one. So guess what? It's watering time again. What a surprise! However, this time I didn't just water, I added something new. So I planted 3 more things. Here it will be, well, if everything goes well, it will be some kind of unusual kind of yellowish orange beetroot. Here it should be reddish, and there I planted some Welsh onions. And for here just a bit of new earth and watering again. There are already some things that can be harvested here. Let me just take a look. I'm sure I saw them, so I didn't dream. It wasn't a dream, right? It wasn't. I love eating these fresh, young beans. They're one of my favorite foods. But you know, as I was listening to what other people are saying for this and the previous years, they are all complaining how their beans are not giving stuff to harvest and the flowers are falling off. I think I'm actually lucky because I didn't follow the rules here, because the rules say they like full sun. But I'm sure that no plant in the world, except maybe cactus or some succulents, loves a scorching sun. That is happening for the last few days, few years, excuse me. And I think that having something in partly shade is the best option, even for tomatoes. Tomatoes are over there. They do get a lot more sun than these guys that are closer under the trees. But still, there is still a lot of shade coming to the tomatoes there, and they are happy like that because I don't see any problems. I mean, you could discuss my way of planting and stuff. Again, I'm not a professional, I'm just playing around. So don't take me too seriously, you know. You would say they should be, you know, separated more, so they need to breathe, and that is all true. However, I just have limited time and limited budgets and limited everything, so I just do what I can to have something. And today is the day of a first my own red tomato. I'm so happy to see it, cannot describe it. And as you can see, many more are to come if everything goes well. So yeah, honestly, one time I will have my own serious garden and everything else that comes with it. Most of my stuff will be under partly shade, because as I said, the last few years and the scorching sun, people are just planting how they are used to. You know, those are farm fields with no trees around. And then when the drought comes, when the temperatures rise, like they go over the record ones, they have problems. So people are saying their beans are failing, but my beans are just fine because they are under the shade. So yeah, maybe beginner's luck, I don't know, but note for myself. And maybe for you, a suggestion, try planting in partly shade. Especially if you're in Mediterranean climate or somewhere like that. The sun is your friend and your plant's friend, but it has its limits because at some point it becomes an enemy. So these are the new things. I checked the footage from the last time and I was surprised to see a bunch of different birds coming to drink. So it was Eurasian jay, as I guessed it would be because I seen it around earlier. It was blackbird, also expected, but also some species of thrush, I believe. I am not sure. I'm really not sure what this bird is. So I will look it up, find the best match and write the guesses on the screen. But the interesting thing is, as I was looking at them, they were almost, they're actually fighting over this part here because they were thirsty. They wanted this, every bird wanted a piece of the pond from themselves, and as I could guess, Eurasian jay being the toughest there, strongest from the corvid family, he was the main one and he controlled the territory. And I felt sad at times because every time some other bird would get here would come the jay to, just to defend what he thinks is his territory. Eurasian jays are very intelligent animals, just like any other from the corvid family. They are known to plan in advance. For example, they take oak acorns and they plant them in the soil during the winter, so they have the reserves once the food gets scarce. Also, males are known to be picky with which kind of food will they give to females during courting, they will know exactly which kind of food their partner likes, and they will bring that one to her. That is just one of the many things. There were many research around how corvids are intelligent. I think also there were some significant research in terms of empathy. Don't know how far did that go. Some lower part of the feathers, it's very fluffy. I don't know which one, which bird is it. Yeah, interesting. What surprised me the most was deer. So on one or two forages there was a deer, and one scene looked like it's from a Disney movie, you know, with the deer and birds going around. I was very happy to see it. Also notes to myself, I need a camera with better video quality, but okay, that's now of least importance. I'm just playing around, I'm still in that phase. So we have that, we have hedgehogs, also expected. They came during the night, and a cat that was walking around and sniffing. That cat that was walking around and sniffing also considers this part of the raised bed her toilet. So I don't know what I'm going to do about it. That's not very hygienic. It can bring all sorts of diseases and parasites to your food. So I will have to research a bit and think about how to deter it. Maybe to buy some kind of nets to put over this thing. Yeah, but it's been coming just there, nowhere else. For some reason, it just picked the spot. I think the birds are impatient. They are waiting for me to go away, so they didn't have their water filled for some time, and the sun is very heavy, so I guess they are a bit impatient. But that's the brief story about what I recorded. I'm very happy that I did it. Some scenes were sad, for example, when that part with water was flipped over and then the birds kept coming, but there was nothing there, they were thirsty. So that's why I decided to have two of the pots this time. There is still this one part that other ground animals can drink as a reserve. Here it is. Oh, there is a wasp was feasting. It's feasting again. Hey. The camera goes there. I'll set it the same way. Have a little of battery left, and we will see what will happen. So yeah, nothing more to say really, but to wait and see. A brief story time. So yesterday during the evening I went outside, and apart from recording some usual stuff, when the night fell I discovered that I really don't know much about nature, because I heard and learned few new birds for the first time in my life. I was sitting there and the sun was setting. I heard these weird noises, and it was the European nightjar. It is a nocturnal bird that I knew nothing about previously. It was amazing experience, almost a spooky a bit, but still amazing. And what is interesting, at one point they flapped their wings. So the males of European nightjar flap their wings as during the defense of the territory, you know, as an aggression act or threatening act, more likely, and also when they're courting the females. So I was sitting there and I just heard a bunch of, you know, clapping noises. It was as if some humans were passing and clapping, you know, just for fun. And I was scared because there was no one there. I was looking around. It was very loud noise, and I figured it is the flapping of its wings that really does that. Never seen anything like that before. And later, as I went back, I discovered that these kind of birds are very curious. So when they see humans or larger animals, they actually hover over you And even in the night you can see white parts on their wings, and I believe the tail as well. So they hover over you. They are curious, but maybe also they want to scare you off. They are actually nesting on the ground. Their eggs are without the nest. They just put them directly on the ground, so they might be vulnerable. If I was in their territory where they had eggs or were planning them or something, I'm sure they were most likely very defensive about that. I saw pairs, few of them, so likely they defended something, I'm not sure. But amazing bird. When I researched more about it, it is not yet, especially in a large part of Europe, it is not yet considered as threatened, but it is on the way to get there, because its habitat is, of course, getting lost, and agriculture and human interventions here and there, they don't have anywhere to go, and their numbers are steadily, unfortunately, declining. So I do wonder what will happen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. I could bet they will be threatened, unfortunately. But let's enjoy them while they're here, and also try whatever we can do to save them. Another interesting thing that happened is my app for identification of bird sounds caught a bird that is not European native, and it is introduced here. It is some kind, I believe the name is bobwhite or something like that. Also the ground bird, I believe it's nesting on the ground and usually spends its time on the ground, and it was unusual because I did hear it and then it disappeared. So when I checked, at first I was like, maybe the app made the mistake, because this is a bird from North America in those regions. But then when I checked, I seen a bunch of reports of the same bird in the area where I am and around it, and it's confirmed it's introduced. So yeah, nothing weird there. I just basically, what I wanted to say is how amazing it is to just go on a random evening walk and discover 2 new species you didn't know anything about, to learn about their behaviors, to learn how they look, how they sound like. It's amazing stuff. I encourage you all to do such things. Just gather your stuff and go walk in nature, and if that interests you, of course. We are not all the same.